Hi guys. So saw this question and thought this would be a great question to answer. Started writing it out and I thought why not create a video on this because there was quite a few things where I think visually it would be nice to discuss and show. So let's get into it. So we'll look at some best way to manage the following scenario. So the short description of this is global support group managing support queues across several instances. Have seen this quite a lot as well. So there are several instances across different geographies. Each has its own support groups. So for a particular area, support groups from each location will merge into a global support team, yet retain separate instances. So what would you suggest in terms of implementing this and best practices? So this isn't globalization of many instances. We're just looking to have particular stream of work that is being merged. So great to hear insights and lessons learned. So let's go into the requirements. So I'm going to just reword this requirement so it's a bit clearer. Um, and then we can start working on solutions. So user requirement. As an incident manager, I would like certain incidents to be able to be assigned to a global support group, which could be in a different instance to the local group, so that incidents that require additional support from other locations can receive the required support. So we understand the business justification to that as well. So if I've understood that correctly, there are a few factors that we should take into consideration here. So the amount of instances that we're trying to cover in this requirement. This could add further complexity and could change the solution design below. How many attributes we're looking to send over, including the type of data. So reference fields could provide a challenge depending on the target instance data. And lastly, the standard trigger points, field mapping, process mapping. If these do not match from one instance to another, could cause further complexity. So essentially, the solution proposed is to integrate the incidents between the instances using REST, Integration Hub, e-bonding spoke, which are all good components to look into. There are a few things to consider when doing this. So firstly, just want to kind of start with showing two instances. So let's say we have instance A, we have instance B. We'll keep it simple for now. The first way to kind of look to integrate an incident would be to identify the trigger point. So let's try and understand how do we actually look to trigger this incident. So there's a few ways to do it. One of the options I would recommend is to use service offering. So service offering is great, also because it does provide a good way to report on what incidents are going towards this service offering that you provide, which is, let's say, a global shared service. And that way, if an incident is created, let's say in a new state and has a service offering of global shared service, the integration could kick off to then send it to the relevant instance B. However, however, um, there might be cases where we would like to not automatically send it but trigger it off consciously. So with that in mind, we could do another condition where we look at using the state and the on hold reason. So if state is on hold and the on hold reason is so we could either go awaiting something like vendor or third party, or create a separate choice relevant to the requirements. So that is up to yourself. It's all basically looking at the platform to identify what's the best option. It's always best to go out of the box where possible, but if it doesn't fit the requirement, that is a decision to be made. So let's say we've got the conditions that goes if an incident has a service offering of global share, the state has been changed to on hold and on hold reasons wait to third party, then essentially create that incident create that incident. Create this incident into this instance. Now, this is where I will be. Oh, that is not working. 1 second. Okay. Yep. So this is where you then look to integrate that incident into this instance. So you would essentially copy this and create the new incident and assign it to the relevant assignment group. Now, assignment group may also be a way to do this instead of service offering. So if your CSDM is not mature enough to create service offerings and have this shared or aligned, that might be an option as well. But my recommendation would be service offering, but you could also do it assignment group, depending on the platform. Okay, so essentially that would be the solution in terms of integrating it. Now, we would then need to consider how do you stop the integration, what fields you integrate, but essentially that could be covered in a whole different video and conversation. There's a lot to it, but the best recommendation for particularly sending incidents from one instance to another group would be to integrate it. And also I would be very careful using the term merge, because essentially we are synchronizing these incidents or integrating them, or essentially e-bonding them, but not merging, because essentially one incident data is sent over to another to match, not to kind of do a split between the two of attributes per instance. So I hope that makes sense. And also when it comes to integration, a few just best practices, just to chat one little golden nugget here, is essentially when you've got the source and you've got the target instance, you want to have the incident number sent or pasted into the correlation ID field of that target incident record, as you can see in this diagram here, and that way you would know which is the source incident coming from that particular environment, and then below you got the incident details, which again comes down to that field mapping. So I hope that's helped answer the question and giving you a framework. If you have any further questions or further clarifications on some of the requirements that I might have misunderstood, please do let me know and I'll be happy to follow up. Thank you so much.